Henry Foyle's Principles of Management. Henry Foyle presented his 14 management principles in his famous book Industrial and General Management, published in 1916. These principles developed by Henry Foyle were completely new. It is far away from the traditional method. This principle developed by Henry Foyle were totally new. He believed that to become successful manager in any industrial unit, only knowledge is not essential, but it requires to be aware with a suitable functioning method of respective industrial units format. It was believed that for the success of any industrial unit, simply knowledge is not important, but it is essential to be versed with the respective industrial unit format and according to functional method. It is an application of a theoretical and practical knowledge in various management field. Based on his experience and knowledge, Henry Foyle presented 14 important principles of management which have proved to be very much useful in the field of management. The 14 principles of Henry Foyle are: first one, division of work. When employees are specialized, output can increase because they become increasingly skilled and efficient. We know that a person doing work for a long, that person become very expert in that work. And this is the advantage of division of work or specialization. This division of work applicable for firms which have many employees as well as few employees. The principle of division of work says that the work should be divided between all people who are capable of doing it and should not be overloaded to a concentrated few. It should not be diluted by giving the same work to others also. This ensures proper utilization of person and keep them focused and productive for a particular work. Second principle, authority and responsibility. Managers must have the authority to give orders, but they must also keep in mind that with the authority comes a responsibility. Authority and responsibility are connected to each other. Authority and responsibility are the two sides of the one coin. Authority without a responsibility and a responsibility without power both are incomplete or meaningless. Whenever subordinate is assigned responsibility of work, it is necessary to assign relevant power also. At the time of assigning the power, different parameters like employees post, knowledge, qualification, expertise, experience, leadership, maturity, etc. should be taken into consideration. Because of power, employees' enthusiasm increase and goal achievement becomes easy. Third one, discipline. Discipline must be upheld in organization, but methods for doing so can vary. It goes without saying that management is responsible for the way discipline is maintained in an organization. And this discipline percolates down the line to the end of the employee chain as well. Discipline means obeying the orders and respect towards managers. For optimum use of the equipments and consistency of activities, industrial discipline is very much essential. Discipline creates one type of harmonious environment. Industrial peace can be established because of certain kind of rules and code of conduct. Hence, governance gets established in the unit. When employees are in large numbers, because of discipline and code of conduct, control become easy. Employees' interest in job increases. Managers also can take a work easily. For observing discipline, proper supervision, appropriate and clear contracts between owners and workers, just implementation of punishment, etc. matters are important in this principle of discipline. Fourth one, fourth principle, unity of command. Employees should have only one direct supervisor. Fourth principle, unity of command. Employees should have only one direct supervisor. When we discussed the authority in the above point, we said that the authority should lie with only certain people. Similarly, the authority follows down the chain only when there are a limited number of people associated with the authoritative person. If all the people in a political party were directly going to report to the Prime Minister. He will soon be admitted in the hospital due to stress. So, in that same way, employees cannot follow orders from more than one superior. Hence, this principle shows that the employees should get order from only one supervisor for any job or activity. It means that the employees should be responsible to only one supervisor for particular job or department. Due to this principle, confusion never arises amongst employees in regards to order. If more than one orders are given, that creates confusion among employees and industrial discipline cannot be maintained due to this. Fifth principle, unity of direction. Teams with the same objective should be working under the direction of one manager using one plan. This will ensure that the action is properly coordinated. Planning is an outline of future work. It can be completed with a division of work or specialization. During the implementation, whenever deviations are found through direction, guidance is provided. Direction should be given by some specific superior. By doing this, coordination can be established among uniform tasks and efforts. According to these principles, one and each employee group, there should only one superior. This group should be doing work for achievement of single goal. Once unity of command is achieved, and you have a complete hierarchy where everyone knows who they are responsible to, and they are ready to do the leader's bidding, then it is the time to implement the unity of direction. Sixth principle, subordination of individual interest to the general interest. The interest of the employee should not be allowed to become more important than those of the group. This includes managers. Management is a collective activity. Hence, there should be a coordination between persons and the department for the achievement of unit's goal. This principle shows that the individual interest or specific employees group interest should be considered as subsidiary against the general whole unit's interest. Thus, general interest should be given importance as against individual interest. To control people, you have to understand their interest first. And in the end, you have to ensure that the interest of the companies lies above the interest of the individual. Many a time, a person is removed from the company when he is moonlighting or doing his own sideline jobs. This is because the company wants to ensure that the person who is working in the company is giving his 100% to the company. The focus of the organization is on individuals who are giving their all to the company. The interest of the company should be placed above the interest of the individual. Seventh principle, remuneration of personnel. Employee satisfaction depends on fair remuneration for employee and everyone. This includes financial and non-financial compensation. Remuneration means return against the service provided by the employees. As per this principle, remuneration paid to employees should be suitable. Ideal payment of wage makes relations stronger and harmonious between owners and employees. All the employees within the unit do not work with similar efficiency. Efficient employee does more work and production than desired. They should get a reward for their efficiency. By doing this, worker turnover rate decreases. Promotional schemes like bonus, profit sharing, representation in managerial decision making, etc., should be implemented for skilled and efficient workers. Eighth principle, centralization. This principle refers to how close employees are to the decision making process. It is important to aim for an appropriate balance. It should be made clear that for the success of organization, to what extent centralization or decentralization should be made. In centralization, most of the power concentrated in a group of people. Decentralization going to share this power to subordinate also. In any organization, to the extent to which authority is not delegated or assigned, it is termed as a centralization. For the best use of employees' ability, principle of centralization should be adopted. In large size unit, centralization is found less successful. Hence, centralization or decentralization is adopted as per the size of the unit. Scalar chain. Employees should be aware of where they stand in the organization's hierarchy or chain of command. These principles emphasize on creating chain from top level management to bottom level employees. Chain of power from higher administrative officers to bottom level employees. Powers and responsibilities should be vested as per their representative level and respective stages. Employees working in a unit should be aware of who is responsible to whom. As a result, a scalar chain occurs, which moves from top to bottom and from bottom to top. Scalar chain is confusing for many people, but let me break it down simply for you. When mentioning the unity of command, I said that one person should report to a single manager higher up the chain only. So an executive should report to a team manager who should report to the regional manager who will report to the national manager and so on and so forth. So an executive should report to team manager. This team manager going to report to regional manager going to report to national manager and so on. 10th one, order. The workplace facilities must be clean, tidy, and safe for employees. Everything should have its place. This order does not mean that someone sitting on top is ordering the people. It is the order was chose. Simply said, if an organization does not work in an orderly manner, there will be a chose so that work in an orderly manner. Employees needed the right equipment and the right procedure and to ensure the order is maintained at all times. These principles emphasize on two parameters, raw material management and social arrangement. Each part of raw material should be at its appropriate place. Likewise, in that same way, skilled employees should be also placed at the right place. Arrangement should be done for recruitment of suitable employee in suitable place, etc. Equality. Managers should be fair to staff at all times, both maintaining discipline as necessary and acting with kindness where appropriate. Employees are a part of managerial system. Everyone should be treated equally and no preference should be given in an organization. Many a times the most common complaint of employees is that a different employee was preferred over them for promotion or a better salary or better wage increment. Employees are live human beings and should adopt a practical approach for taking work from them. While taking work from employees, officers should behave uniformly and appropriately with this. The formal or traditional approach may not be effective for this. At the time to establish uniformity in the unit, informal behavior should be adopted. Employees' behavior towards managers is based on faithfulness, attitude, uniformity, and justice. First one, stability of personal tenure. Managers should strive to minimize the employee turnover. Personal planning should be priority. Permanent and stable employees are asset of any business unit. An employee can develop himself for and by and remaining to one unit and contributing in the achievement of goals of the business unit. As the employees remain for a long time in any unit, his knowledge of system result into more productivity and also decrease labor turnover. There should be an arrangement for promotion, training, etc. for permanent employees. Permanent and stable employees are asset of a business unit. Employees develop by staying for a longer duration with any one business unit. Stability of employees make important contribution in the achievement of a objective of any unit. When employee stays for long in respective unit with his knowledge of system, more productivity can be achieved. Then workers turnover rate also decreasing. The arrangement should be made for promotion, training, etc. to deal with this for permanent employees. 13th one, initiative. Employees should be given the necessary level of freedom to create and carry out plans. It sounds too good when we think that a company has innovated and brought a new product to the market. But many a times we question why companies are not regularly innovating. If you look at it, the most innovative companies are the ones which encourage young and old talent to bring out their own ideas. They also show interest and involvement to encourage such professionals. As it is necessary that a manager should have entrepreneurial ability, similarly, employees should have initiative quality. Managers should try to create such an environment in business that employees get encouragement for taking initiative. Because of initiative taking ability, employees' ability to work independently develops as well as their leadership power also increases. Esprit de corps, feeling of oneness. Organizations should strive to promote team spirit and unity. Esprit de corps is defined as a feeling of pride and mutual loyalty shared by the members of a group. And that is exactly what you have to target for if you want to achieve success while applying the 14th principle of management. Success of any individual or any industrial unit lies in mutual relation of managers and employees. Hence, there should be a harmony in both classes. Managers should generate group feeling among employees. If all employees will work together, then achievement of goals become. Henry Foyle said that above list, not last list of management principles. Managers can add new principles based on their experience, research, and knowledge as per various situations and conditions. These principles can be implemented in all kind of activities like business, economic, political, and social, where we can apply management principle. Each and every field we can use this principle. Overall, these 14 principles of management are evergreen in nature, means it is much important nowadays also. And no matter the way technology is catching up with us, these 14 principles of management will matter to even the smallest of organization and will help them when they are growing large. There are even simpler ways to track several of the things written in 14 principle of management. But the ultimate goal is to have an organization which is efficiently managed, productive, and gives optimum result as per the goals of the organization.